Hi, I'm Amanda Morgan from Not Just Cute, and this is what was supposed to be a first Friday Q&A. It's turning out to be a second Friday Q&A, but nonetheless, it's a great question, and I wanted to make sure that I get to it. Someone that was participating in the Parenting with Positive Guidance e-course wrote in with a question that I think is so great and so common. I want to make sure that I share it here with you to see if it might help out with some things that might be challenging other people, and also so that you who have experienced it can share your experience and input as well. So this person was asking about interactions between her 8-month-old and her 3-year-old, saying that the 3-year-old is fairly aggressive with the 8-month-old still, kicking, hitting, kind of stepping on her, and just feeling like everything they try is not working out. So she's looking for some other ideas and a different viewpoint there. So what I think of first off with 3-year-olds, aggressive behavior is not entirely uncommon. Again, that doesn't mean it's acceptable, but it's not uncommon. It fits in that developmental sphere. For 3-year-olds, a lot of them are burgeoning on these verbal skills, but some of them still, their verbal skills don't quite match up with their emotions, and also their impulse control doesn't quite match up with those strong emotions either. So part of it takes the coaching, talking them through emotions, labeling their feelings, talking about how they're feeling, and then showing them how might be an appropriate way to show those feelings. So if you're angry, then you can come punch this pillow. This can be a pillow that you can punch it anytime that you feel that way, or teaching them to take deep breaths. I had a post recently with bubbles and talking about taking deep breaths and blowing out your grumpy feelings like you would in a bubble, or just helping them talk to you about it and say, I'm angry because of this, or I need that toy, or can I have a turn? Those types of social scripts that we might coach them through to help with that verbal aspect. So that's just in a general sense with aggressive behavior with 3-year-olds, and I'll put some more links down below for general aggression tips. But particularly this questioner wrote in saying that her son has gotten a lot better with his friends and isn't so aggressive with them anymore, that he's gotten better at working out social situations and talking it out, or just working it out between them. But that the problem is still with the 8-month-old. And what that would indicate to me is that he's working through the social aspect, and he's improving in that impulse control and in the verbalizing, if he's able to verbalize with his friends, as she indicated in her letter. So to me, what's happening with the 8-month-old is a little bit more of a sibling dynamic, and also an attention getting behavior and interaction issue, and power. So let me talk about those things. And first off, before I jump into that, I do want to say that especially with aggressive behavior, one of the most important things that you can do is spend some time observing. So I would refer you to the care sheet that I've shared here. For others that are familiar with behavioral interventions, it's the same as an ABC format, basically looking at what leads up to the behavior, what happens within that behavior, and what happens after the behavior, to give you some clues about why it's happening, because there are little clues that can make a big difference and change the way you want to respond to it. But just from what I know, what I would say is to spend some time getting closer up, observing, like I'd mentioned, but also being kind of inserting yourself into those interactions so that you can stop him midway and redirect. So kind of catching his hand and saying, oh, we need to be soft with our baby, and talking about soft and showing him the correct way to do it, or redirecting, as we mentioned, if you're angry, you can do this. So spend some time in a 3-way interaction so that you're helping guide him through that interaction. What I mentioned before, we're looking at things like attention. So is it an attention getting behavior, either to get attention from you as a parent? So he gets the baby to scream, you come running, he gets some attention. So maybe looking at that, is that what he's after? And if so, how can you give him more positive attention, or show him how to get positive attention? The other is kind of a getting attention from the baby. So kind of a social interaction. Does he not know any other way to get attention from the baby, to get the baby to react? He's learned that these are ways he can get a reaction out of the baby. So maybe teaching him how he can make a funny face or talk to her softly and get a reaction from her that way. It may also just be an education type thing, teaching him how to take care of the baby. And this plays in also to the power aspect. A lot of times with misbehavior, if you're working past the social issues, social coaching, and verbal issues, and emotion coaching, those types of things. And I look at issues of attention and power. So we've talked a little bit about attention, how he gets attention from you positively, how he can get attention from the baby positively, but also it could be power. And so helping him to find ways that that he can build a sense of power in positive ways. So whether that's involving him in some responsibilities that he can have in the house, but also the power of helping with the baby. And so talking to him about how he can properly interact with the baby, which ties into the attention aspect. So talking to him about how he can hold her when you're helping him, or how he could help get the wipes when you're changing diapers, or get her binky when she's sad, or showing him ways that he can help, and then making a very big deal about how helpful that was, and what a great job he does, and how happy it makes the baby, and how happy it makes you when we all help together. So I would look at those aspects first of all. Like I said, do some observing so that you can see what might be playing into his. Is he trying to get attention? Is he trying to get a toy from her? Is he just not paying attention as he's making his way through the living area, and it may be accidental? So you've probably done some of that, but spend some time observing and thinking about causes and responses and what's going on in there. And then look particularly within those observations, look particularly at attention getting behavior. How does he get attention from you, and how does that play into these episodes? How's he getting attention and response from the baby, and how does that play in? And how does he get power? How does he feel powerful? And that can tie in again to his response from the baby. Is he getting power from that response, and can you show him a positive way to get power by helping and getting a positive response from the baby and from you? So those were the thoughts that I had first off. I'd love to hear what some of you who have experience working with especially 3-year-olds or preschool age with young infant siblings, and how that dynamic works out. We have that in my house right now as well. I have a 3-year-old and I have a 5-month-old. And so I've noticed it really helps just to coach him through, giving him a turn, like I said, holding the baby while I help him, and just making big comments about what a great big brother he's being and how helpful he's being. Giving him turns to help out with the baby, and having the baby smile back is a big reinforcer to him. So I'm hoping that some of these tips might help. I'd love to hear from others, and I also have some other helps down below that I'll link. So hopefully we'll hear from you and hear more questions for you for our next First Friday Q&A. This is Amanda Morgan from NotJustCute.com. Thanks.